Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld at the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Monday, November 21st, 2017. Looking at precipitation over the past 14 days, you can see that the northern part of the Great Basin has seen a fair amount of precipitation while it's been much drier further south. If we compare this precipitation to normal, it's kind of a mixed bag of above and below normal depending on where you are in the Great Basin, but in general the higher elevations of the northern part of the Great Basin are at or above normal as far as precipitation. There's been a fair amount of snowfall across the area over the past 72 hours. These areas in dark red are around a foot and a half to over 2 feet of snow, so quite a bit of snowfall across the higher elevations of the northern and eastern portions of the Great Basin. Looking at snow depth, which is this image on the right, again, it should be no surprise that the greatest snow depth is across these higher elevations of the eastern part of the Great Basin and north into Idaho, where the snowfall has been the most impressive over the past few weeks. Satellite this morning shows some moisture across the northern part of the Great Basin. We will see some cloudiness and maybe some light showers across the northern part of the Great Basin today. So looking again at a little more detail in today's weather, again you can see the moisture in place across the northern part of the Great Basin, and despite this weather disturbance, the ventilation index will be port affair across pretty much the entire area as we are encompassed by high pressure. If we look at this, break that ventilation index down to the transport winds and the mixing height, you can see the transport winds are going to be the healthiest across the western part of the Great Basin. However, the mixing heights are quite low. As we move into Tuesday, we do see those port affair ventilation indices continue with high pressure in place across the Great Basin. We'll continue to see those pretty low mixing heights and really light transport winds on Tuesday, and so that does explain those lower ventilation indices. As we move into Wednesday, that picture doesn't change much as we have building high pressure and decreasing moisture across the Great Basin. Again, on Wednesday, we will see those really light transport winds and those lowering mixing heights due to the increasing high pressure. So over the next 3 days, the Utah Forecast Clearing Index from the National Weather Service reflects this downward trend with port affair mixing across the majority of Utah. If we look at precipitation in the 3-day period, again, most of the precipitation will be focused across the northern part of the Great Basin, similar to what we've seen over the past 2 weeks. On Thursday, we do see a disturbance moving across the northern part of the Great Basin, which will act to improve the ventilation index a bit across the north, though with high pressure hanging on across the south, we will continue to see that poor mixing further south. On Friday, a pretty similar picture with better mixing across the north, closer to that weather disturbance. And then as we move into Saturday, we see that high pressure begin to build back up across the Great Basin, leading to lowering ventilation indices. And again, that trend continues into Sunday. However, right now models are suggesting that a weather system will cross the Great Basin early next week, which would lead to increasing clearing indices early next week. Finally, in the 4 to 5 day period, it looks like that precipitation accumulation continues to focus across the northern part of the Great Basin. So really not much in the way of precipitation across the south over at least the next week. In the 8 to 14 day outlook, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for above normal temperatures across the entire Great Basin with above normal precipitation across much of the area. So if this does come to fruition, we do have the potential to see some precipitation further south into the Great Basin in that November 27th to December 3rd period. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thanks.